This from Mike Garofolo, who says, a source informed of the NFL's investigation of Calvin Ridley's gambling tells me the bets did involve the Falcons. The bets in question.
Significant.
NFL statement says the investigation, quote, uncovered no evidence indicating any inside info was used or that any game was compromised. But those bets did involve the Falcons, which I said earlier is an important detail in all of this.
You would have inside information based on solely being on the roster.
Yes. And he's not allowed to bet on football, period.
This sounds like the NFL overstepping their bounds again with a statement.
Well, the inside information, I view it as him receiving information while he's not a part of the team, while he's on this non-football illness list, receiving information from the Falcons that he then turned and used as part of his sports bet.
And also,
that would be
him knowing the playbook before that.
Yes, and let me give you an example of this. This is not just anyone who's got an account somewhere. You see it. This is not just, I'm picking the Falcons to cover this week as a 7-point underdog. This could be over-under catches for a teammate that he's talking to regularly that is complaining to him about not being a part of this week's game plan.
Right, and the NFL's saying that they don't have any evidence of that. They're not saying it didn't happen, but I don't think this is an overstep of a statement because the Falcons in their statement said that this investigation has been ongoing since February 9th. We're sitting here on March 7th, and we're hearing about it for the first time.
I think they're treating the public like they're really stupid to say there's no inside info of an active member of the Atlanta Falcons betting on Falcons games.
Here also,
you can say there's no evidence. Okay, I can say that too. We have no text that shows he was, texting with Kyle Pitts about his catches and targets that week. Okay, that's fine, but of course there's inside information if he's gambling on Falcons games.
Well, you can't punish it unless you have it. They're saying they don't have it.
Here's where I think
they're punishing him by suspending him for a year.
No, with him, he's admitted to it. They're saying inside information from the Falcons to him. They don't have the evidence that anything took place from within the organization.
Right, nor would they. They don't have subpoena power. They can't get his cell phone. They don't know if he has a FanDuel account.
Yeah, but
they act sometimes like they're the feds.
Let me clarify what I'm saying here. Less is more. You don't even have to put that in there. We are suspending Calvin Ridley for betting on the NFL for a season, and you can end it at that. You don't have to give us – we don't have any confirming evidence of inside info. Well, I think you're treating your audience like they're idiots when you say that.
They absolutely have to say that, Chad, because we immediately would be saying, what do the Falcons know about and what they did?
But we immediately know. He's saying that there's no inside info like the Falcons are getting feedback on it with that.
And no, we would be saying, what did Arthur Smith know about? Why did the league release this the Monday after the Combine and not allow Arthur Smith and Terry Fontenot to be asked about it? And they're saying the reason for that is there's no inside information coming from the Falcons to him that he then relayed in terms of placing a bet on the team.
As far as they know.
To prove that happened. They don't have the evidence to prove it.
Right.
I just don't see.
To me,
so
they should go a step further
had to say it.
and say, but we don't have subpoena power, and we don't know what's on his phone or what phone calls he made or who he was texting with.
I'm not saying that the Falcons did anything wrong at all in this, or that they're providing him with something to go out and, hey, now go bet on this and gamble on games. I'm saying someone whose teammates and a part of the Falcons organization is going to have inside info, whether the Falcons have any knowledge of it or not. Now, you could clarify in there, the Falcons didn't provide him with gambling information, but he's betting on Falcons games. They sure as heck didn't include that in their statement, even though that's already out now.
Once he's away from the team, we're not providing him any further information regarding our game plans or team health and look, or things like that.
They're showing how serious they take this by suspending the guy for at least a year. That's a heavy-handed punishment. So the league is doing their part in finding this out and saying, buddy, you're done for the season, at least, until we find more information.
They're treating him with more seriousness than they did Sean Watson, quite frankly.
Absolutely they are.
I mean,
much faster.
They made it Houston's problem, where they could have just absolutely said this is Atlanta's problem, and knowing that he's unlikely to play this upcoming season due to the non-football illness list that he's been on since October.
It's weird.
Instead, they suspend him for a full year and act within a month.
Well, they know how to handle gambling. They have no idea what to do with domestic assault accusations.
Well, but now it comes down to my initial question is the 5-day window that they're looking at and how they found out about it. Because if they don't have subpoena power and they don't look at phones and they don't look at apps, how'd they know?
One of his teammates give him up?
No, I mean, my guess.
I'm asking.
I mean,
that's a good question you're asking.
So if they don't have that, if they don't have access to all that, how'd they figure this out?
Well, did one of their partners in sports wagering hand over information on them to their partner in the NFL? That's their biggest provider of revenue.
That's interesting. How private is that information? Are you allowed to do that?
I would think not.
My guess is you hand it over if he won in a windfall on some information that they had, but.
That could be another one. He got flagged when he started placing some big bets down.
Yeah.
And that got the attention of everyone.
But, Chad, you're also absolutely right that there are players on these apps that are betting on all kinds of stuff. They can do that on any other sport they want to.
Yeah, it's not. You're right. And again, I'm just saying it's a lot. It's not just as simple as I really like our chances this week against Seattle. And we're going to cover. I'm talking to a buddy on the team who knows he's not going to get targets. So I'm going to go under yardage on that particular player. And then I can parlay that with some other things I know about game plan and really hit big.
You raise a good point, though, there, Hut. That's where a guy could easily slip into the temptation. He's a regular NBA guy.
But, okay,
and
here's where the league can come, the judge, jury, and executioner part of it. The league bought into this whenever they figured out that they're going to make more money partnering with Vegas, putting a team in Vegas, than completely walling it off like they've done for the history of the league itself. So on one side, they're accepting all of this revenue money. And on the other side, they're saying these players, coaches, owners can't jump in and be a part of this. Which, oh, by the way, Stephen Ross, he's being investigated for allegedly offering $100,000 to lose games on purpose, to tank on purpose. This to me cranks up that story a lot more. And going back to the Houston comparison, by suspending Calvin Ridley, Atlanta now has $11 million open up on their salary cap right as they go into the week prior to free agency. And they're hamstrung when it comes to their cap situation as it is. Meanwhile, Houston was told to deal with it. Yeah. By no uncertain terms, they were told to deal with it and pay Deshaun Watson not to show up.
You were right, Hutton, in that Houston, all these stories that come out, regardless of how big in scope, penalty, everything else, the Texans continue to get screwed in all of this when you look at their situation and how the league handled it. And with Deshaun Watson just still floating out there, sort of in the ether, not knowing what's going to happen, it's an awful situation for the Texans. They can't move forward.
Were
they even told to deal with it, or was implied to deal with it? The league said nothing.
No, by doing nothing, they were told to deal with it.
They said a lot. They said they didn't have enough information to act. They weren't given anything within the court system to act one way or the other. That there was no cooperation on the documents that were sealed, more or less. And so they didn't act because they didn't know which way to go one way or the other. Meanwhile, within 4 weeks of starting this investigation, according to the Falcons, they were alerted on February 9th. And by March 7th, not only have they suspended him for the upcoming season, they could suspend him for life.
By the way, that's the fastest
this is indefinite
review of anything ever by the NFL. The NFL never has reviewed something and released a statement in a month.